Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 59 of Direwolf20's Enigmatica 2 Expert Mode series, where today I took down this big mess that we made last episode and decided to put it back here, which is a big mess that we made. One thing I noticed, by the way, it's really cool. The blueprints actually show you which thing you've selected. So like if I choose this, it changes the blueprint to like be the thing we selected. So that's pretty cool. Right? But basically I set this up in here. It's a very simple setup, nothing too crazy. I extended some channels over here, have a P2P tunnel, which has conduiting going down there. It hooks up to an interface here with the circuit board pattern, because this is set to do a circuit board. And then under the ground, it just runs some conduiting right here with the vacuum tube pattern, because this is set up to do a vacuum tube. The items go into the slots, and then they pipe into a chest, which is then item conduit outed into the ME interface right here. So we can, cover up a majority of this stuff as we so wish to make it look a little bit cleaner back here. But long story short, there you go, right? And we're only using 2 channels back here. So if it turns out that we have a few more other like large immersive engineering style autocrafts to set up, we could always set them up back here as well. So as a proof of concept that this is in fact working, I'm going to take my vacuum tubes out. Why are you sorting by model all of a sudden? You should be sorting by number of items. And we're going to ask for a circuit board, which requires vacuum tubes. All right. So we hit start on this dude, and we should see the vacuum tube thing run. So like items will show up in here at some point and go. Hey, there it goes. Stamp, boom, vacuum tube in. And then over here, we should see the circuit board run. Stamp, boom, cool. Right, and if we take a look in here, we should see a printed circuit board, which is cool, because now we've got all the automation that we need to proceed having a good time. Boom. I love sleeping instantly. I love that instant sleep. It's like the best. It's the best thing. That and the instant eat. Those are 2 of my favorites. Anything that like cuts down on time and it's just like, boom, it works instantly, is the best. Speaking of, I want to check out my, ooh, nice. 2.5 stacks of ender pearls. Now we're cooking. Ender pearls are a little bit slow on the end to come, but if we ever need a large amount of them at some point. And remember, stacks is 64, because in this pack, some mod is making it so you can stack 64 ender pearls at a time. So I'm actually going to take 2 of those stacks and bring them home with me, so that we have them available for us. I don't have anything hooked up so that I have access to those item drops. If at some point I need to set something like that up, I shall. So now we are free to continue along our quest to get to the stars, which sounds like a lot of fun to me, because as you know, I'm a bit of a science outer space nerd. I like that stuff, so I want to do the thing. So like, let's get a cutting machine and let's get a saw blade assembly, and we can auto-craft most of the other stuff. So like cutting machine should be relatively easy. See what I mean, how easy that was? And saw blade assembly doesn't look too terrible. I just need some iron plates and iron saw blade. So let's get iron. Let's just get like 10 rods and 10 plates. And that should be pretty darn good enough. There you go, saw blade assembly. Woot! And that should be a quest complete already? So what I'm going to do is get our hollow doohickey. Quest complete. It's been a while since we've been doing quest completes. And we want the saw blade assembly thingy. Saw. Something called a saw. Cutting machine? That's probably it. So for this, we need 1 cutting machine. Boom. We need the power plug, a motor, an input and output hatch, and the saw blade assembly. So we need a power plug, a motor, and the input and output hatch, right? So hatches are easy, right? Input hatch, go. Output hatch, go. Boom and boom, right? Motor from Volp's library motor, so that one. And power input plug, which is also relatively easy to make. All the automations, all the fun, right? That thing is in progress. Done. Motor is done. Let's get a few interfaces ready to go here, because you know we're going to need a bunch, right? And away we go. Whee! So, not 100% sure how everything's going to be fleshed out here. But long story short, I'm thinking that we'll probably have another interface right here, right? So if we grab... There you are. I'm hoping that at least one of these is done already. And 2 are done. Sweet. So what we can set up, we'll see how this winds up looking. So the input hatch can be there, but the output hatch is over here. Okay, good to know. That's cool. I like that, because that's actually exactly how I wanted this layout to be, right? And then the cutting machine here, and then the output hatch can be here with the motor and the saw blade assembly and the power. And like I said, we'll rewire a little bit of the power at some point, right? But for now, it's just like, let's get the machine set up, because they're all different sizes and they're all different multi-blocks and they're all different, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit, boom, right? Like, this is, you know, that size and this is that size, right? And I don't know, I don't remember which machines are which sizes. So we will probably, once we get like an advanced rocketry building submission, hint, hint, rearrange some of this stuff. But for now, we want to get the foundation applied so that we're good to go, right? So then we just need an item conduit, right? And then you can be extract always active, and you can be insert. Boom. So an example of what the cutting machine can do is as follows. You can make basic circuits, and you can take advanced circuits, and you can make those too, right? But we could also just do wood. So let's just do this. Let's just validate that the machine is working, right? I should be able to throw, hey, where'd you go? There you are. Some wood in there. Sure, do a stack. Why not? And power on. Sweet. Little bit slow, but again, if I were to replace the motor with a better motor, it would be faster, right? Motors, we could probably get the advanced one because that one didn't look too bad. It was steel and gold. But if we wanted to get to enhanced, then we need some titanium, which we do have access to, obviously, but in short supply. We don't have an overabundance of titanium yet. And then elite requires dilithium crystals, which I'm almost certain we can't find here on Earth. We have to go to the stars for that. Luna has them, Io, Stella, and Titan. Those are all moons, I want to say, right? So just as an FYI. Cool. So that's pretty neat. So we've got that going for us. Let's get the next machine up and running. All right, guys. So the next thing we got to make is a crystallizer, which should be well on its way to being ready. And then to go along with that, what we also need would be input plug, 2 coils. So let's get the coils here. Now, to be fair, we could probably get gold or titanium or aluminum coils. I don't know what their stat upgrades do, though, right? Like, I don't know which one's better. I feel like gold's probably better. Should I just teach you gold coils? Like, maybe let's lab this out, right? Like, let's see if I get you 2 copper coils, right? And then we got 2 gold coils, which, I mean, like, it's an easy enough recipe, right? Like, you don't really need to auto-craft this, but just for completeness sake, right? Boom, 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 right? Because, I mean, you use these to make the advanced motor, so if we decide to make advanced motors in the future, right? So we'll have both of those ready to go, right? And we'll start with copper, and then we'll replace it with gold and see if it's faster. Does that sound cool? Then in addition, we're going to need, so the power plug, input and output hatch. So let's get like 2 of these, because I know we're going to need some for the next machine we make anyway. And 2 power plugs as well. Cool. And then the next thing we need is called a quartz crucible. And we're going to need 6 of those. So let's see how insane that recipe is. That ain't terrible. That ain't terrible at all. So I need 6 times 7. So 42 iron plates. Take care of that for me quickly, would you, buddy? So that's 2 down. There we go, 6. All right, and then you can become quartz crucibles, and you're good to go. Okay. Hooray, quest complete. Taking a nap, taking a nap. And we'll just fly across. All right, so this thing, let's see what this thing looks like, right? Because, you know, it looks like stuff. Dirt. Right? Yield outside build until we really get our head wrapped around what everything looks like. Right? So your crystallizer... Let's put it there. Now, is that multiple levels? Yes, it is. All right, so we need... So the output hatch is here, and the input hatch is here. Can that, like, be reversed in some way? What I could do is do this, right? So that the input hatch is here and the output hatch is here. Or what we could do is stick with what we got, because then we can have our interface here, and then the next machine get built here. I like that plan. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick with that so we can pop our interface for the input right here. So input hatch, boom, crystallizer itself, boop, output hatch, boop, aluminum coil or some kind of coil. So we're going to start with copper coils, and then the power input plug goes here, right? And then it's just the 6 crucibles on top, so we don't even need to use the thing. And then boom, we have the thing. Nice. So speed is 3.81, power is 1.0. Let's run power to the thing. Okay. And then the question is, if I break and replace the copper coils with gold coils, what are we looking at here in terms of a difference? 4.71. So definitely faster, right? Now just for, you know, the sake of argument, right? What would happen if we got aluminum coils? Are those better than gold? Right? So gold was 4.8. Aluminum is 3.8. So aluminum is the same as copper, we learned just now. And gold is better. And I'm sure iridium and titanium are even better, but those are resources that we don't have in large supply, right? Like iridium, do we even have any? So like iridium coils require iridium ingots, which probably not just yet. Iridium dust, pulverized iridium. So there is iridium ore. Do we have anything iridium-wise? We have iridium shards, and we have hardened iridium glass. I have no idea where I got this from, right? That said, it's all good. So let's power the machine on, right? So one thing we can do, because I know this recipe, right? Silicon wafers are made from silicon boules. Silicon boules are made from silicon in the crystallizer, right? So let's get this recipe ready. And I made more patterns because we knew this was coming. Right, so this guy I already taught to the other thing. I taught this to the guy that makes it, right? So now I just need you to know that goes into the interface on the input hatch. Oh, I didn't hook you up to cabling yet. That's right. I put the interface there, but I didn't hook the cabling yet. So let's do that, and then let's get that. And while we're at it, we might as well do this, right? So we're going to want, so you on the up will be insert, not extract. You will be nothing. You will be nothing, and you will be extract always active because you're the output hatch. Cool. So now if I came over here and said, hey, I need some of these, right? You turn sand into silicon bowl, into silicon wafer. Start, right? So we should see that happen. Boom. And then that guy shows up over here and gets cut up. And we get our output hatch silicon wafers. Perfect. All right. Next one up. So these are the foundational machines that we need to get everything we need to get to go to outer space, right? So next thing is an electric arc furnace. So that I'm going to do all the prep work off camera again. So I'm looking at the electric arc furnace, sand into silicon ingots, which I wonder if they're like or dictionary with silicon. It looks like it is, right? So then the other thing an arc furnace can do is make steel, which we totally have covered already. It can make titanium alumide ingots, which I can apparently also make with an alloy furnace from Nuclear Craft. It can make titanium iridium alloy ingots. Again, Nuclear Craft can do that, right? And then finally, it can make titanium ingots from rutile ore. But rutile ore, I can hopefully process in my quadrupler. Yeah, I can. So I don't think I need to make an electric arc furnace. I feel like that's something we're going to skip, because that was a big and slow machine, as I recall, and I don't think we need to do it. So let's get a lathe next, right? So the lathe can do what? What do you make? You make rods. But I mean, like, we have more dictionary rods? Can I skip this part? Because there's, you know, a titanium rods can be made in the metal press. So I'm going to say skip the lathe as well. All right, so the next machine on the list is the rolling machine, which can apparently make iron plates like we can already do, but also it would appear that it can make iron sheets, which this is the only way it works, and we're going to need lubricant from immersive petroleum. So that looks like we have a whole mod to get into, but we're going to find out if we really need it just yet. So I'm not 100% sure if we're going to need this lubricant stuff right away. So there is only one thing called lubricant. And it's in immersive petroleum. So let's make the machine, and then we'll figure it out. Liquid I/O circuit board, by the way. Holy cow! What is this? This is some recipe in right here. We might need. I'm gonna have to set up some more things here. Because we have enhanced, right? But we need another circuit board here. Totally. What do you got going on here, bro? You've got 7 out of 8 in use, so I can throw another carpenter in here. Totally easy peasy. Cool. Let me come back. I'm going to automate the creation of the things I need for that blue circuit, because I assume we'll need more of them at some point. And then we'll be right back. All right, so the refined circuit board is what we need for the blue circuit, right? So bada bing, bada boop. That'll cool. I decided I'm gonna need more of these eventually. So we currently are using 8. Well, we're using 7 out of the 8 channels down here on the bottom row. So I said let's start a new top row. And right now it's playing off of the interfaces on the Automatic Engineers workbench. So these guys are using 3 out of 8 available channels, and we'll expand as needed, right? So just as an FYI. So with that taken care of, right, we should be cool now to teach it how to make blue circuits, which I assume we're going to need more of at some point in the future, right? Boop. And then you guys look like that. But I'd like you to use pure Certus, if you wouldn't mind. Preference. Let's go, Chief. Thank you. Boop, 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 boop. All right, crafting this all off camera. Be right back. Woohoo, it worked first time. Or so I think. We'll find out in about a second. Go on IO circuit board. Let's go. Nope, I think we got into the funny NBT thing. So we're going to want our refined circuit boards. I'm just going to cancel this. I like to let you guys know when we run into the whole funny NBT thing, so that if you're following along with the series at all, you'll know and be like, oh, thanks, Dyer. So now you should be cool. Nice. Perfect. All right, good deal. Back to off-camera work. Well, would you look at that? We are short on redstone for the next craft that we need to do. I need more structure blocks. Well, the output hatch I should actually be good on, but it's the fluid input hatch that we're going to need a little bit of structure block crafting for. So we're literally short one structure block, and we need more redstone. So I think now is as good a time as any to implement Dyer mining other blocks process. So I've got ender chests here that were all kinds of ready to work with. Look at that. It's almost like I was ready for this, right? We got some acceleration cards. We got an import bus crafting its way up to us. Let's find a place down here with just a random free channel wherever, right? Because it super doesn't matter where this channel sits. As long as it's like on a line somewhere that's, you know, pretty got, you know, some channels available. I actually don't know where I want this to be, like, logistically speaking. You could technically make a case for it being over here. I think that's a fair assessment. This is a fair place for this stuff to go, right? So let's pop this dude here with a cable and that import bus. Right, with acceleration cards, boom, right? And now, anything, right, like item conduits, right, we have 0 in the system at the moment. Pop it in here, they should get pulled in, and boom, we have item conduits, right? So ender chest, that's how we're gonna get the items from the digital miner back to our base. We've already got wireless power transfer working out pretty well, right? So that's just going to be, I'm going to put you away for a minute, and you I don't necessarily mean, but you can go away, these guys. You might want to stick around, and that should be cool, right? So let's move our digital miner. What we do need is RF Tools power cell and a linked power cell card, which we have, you know, some of. And we want our, we'll leave the storage crate here, right? That's technically not even necessary anymore. Look at that, just freed up a whole thing. Cool. And let's go somewhere 32 blocks or more away from where this thing harvested, right? Because it has a 32 by 32 range, right? So he was chilling at, you know, X, you know, 13. So if we go 32 blocks away from here, right? I'm thinking it was a 32 block radius. So we want to go 32 blocks away. That'll be the edge of where it last mined. So technically where we want to go is 64 blocks away. So that'll be, you know, the smart way to go. So is this 64? Right. So let's go to like negative 60-ish. That should be plenty to be cool, right? So we pop over in this direction. That is not at all what I thought it was. So you were what over here? We'll go in this direction. How's that sound? That's plus. All right, so we'll go to, you know, plus. It's not super important to get this perfect, right? But here should be fine. All right, am I completely a derp or what? Yeah, like right around here. Got myself all turned around, lost in my own museum. But this-ish should be a good spot, right? Now here's the question. Did the digital miner remember all my stuff? He still got his upgrades, so that's cool. And he still got all his filters, so that's cool, right? So all I should have to do in theory is pop down this guy wherever, like right here, right? Link the cell so that you start getting power. Plus, You've now got that. Set you all to out so that you can transfer power to the adjacent machine. It needs 2.4 thousand RF a tick. We'll figure out how much it winds up getting. And then in theory, we should be able to just pop this guy right here, and that's it, right? Digital miner, ready to go. So that's cool, and we're getting all the things, right? Neat. And in theory, I don't think this reaches all that far. But it ain't too far away. All I gotta do is chunk load that thing, I presume. Right? Redstone should be going up. Yeah, we already have up to 230 now, so that's cool. So let's make sure, like, so everything's working. That's it. Done. Done deal. Are you getting enough RF to keep your power up? You are. Nice. So you need 2.4 thousand RF a tick. You're able to supply that just fine. 25,000 RF a tick is what you can do at the moment. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. That's actually quite good. I'll take that for sure. All right, so you're mining. Look, boom, done, easy peasy, right? Same exact thing we did back there. That should be totally safe, and it's far away from anything that's going to be like basement-y. That wouldn't have already been eaten by the digital miner, so we should be safe. I like that. So we're done. I call that a very simple and completed build. So does that mean we can make a new structure block now? I want to say the answer is yes. Can we make a new set of structure blocks? Hopefully we have enough redstone now. Yeah, we do. Booyah. Start her up. All right, back to the off-camera crafting. I just wanted to come on to show you guys that I had a plan for, and that should work across dimensions, by the way. So once we can set up a deep dark mining setup, what's up? All right, fluid input hatch complete. So let's go get this thing set up properly, and then we'll figure out what he looks like. Hey, quest complete, rolling machine, booyah. So that means you go right about here. Wow, you're a weird looking machine, ain't you? I kind of, so that's where the power plug is, huh? Fluid input hatch, output, output. Why do you have two outputs? You gotta have an input somewhere, buddy. There you are. Input hatch, rolling machine. Oh, that's a shame. Well, that's actually not too bad. We can work with this. All right. So we want our power input plug, fluid input hatch, structure blocks. I wonder if anybody said to me in my last segment, Dyer, you have structure blocks in your inventory. I need them for the build. Output hatch, output hatch. Machine structure, motor, coils. I do like the way this does multi-block design. What I like about it is it does a really good in-world representation of how things should be. And you can click on the blocks. Like, you can directly click on them to make it work, which is cool. Like, I can click here, and it places the block there, right? It's not that I'm clicking on empty air. Very nice, right? So we have two input hatches as well, and then a couple more machine structures, and you should form. Nice. Okay, so what we're going to do then is have our interface here, because that's an input hatch, right? And you need fluid input, which I guess normally you need water. But this mod pack decided that you need a whole new mod to make the thing that you need to make. So let's make sure you're turned on, and you're turned on, right? Yeah, you are. Cool. So you're on. You need a power input, which was here, wasn't it? Yeah, that's our power connector. Which I think was right around there. Cool. So you got the juice now. You're ready to roll, minus the lubricant. So what kind of shenanigans do we got to go through to get ourselves a lubricant? Most of these recipes are probably along the lines of you already have lubricant and we're emptying them, right? The squeezer can squeeze lubricant out of cans, which means we have to do distillation tower. So that's cool. So a distillation tower, huh? That's probably in the immersive engineering book. So I suspect we have. I think we know what we're going to be working on next episode, don't we? Don't we know what we're going to be working on? Oil processing, distillation tower. That's the tall thing. I remember you. You're really tall. Yep, we've played with these before. Environmentally unfriendly though, so that's cool. We need a lot of components, but they're not too bad. They're really not bad in terms of components. But we also need a pump jack, don't we? Don't we need one of those? Yeah, we're gonna need a pump jack, right, to pump up the oil. When mining near bedrock, you occasionally notice a slick black blah blah blah. You may get your hands on some contents of the reservoirs. The core sample drill will determine whether a reservoir can be found in a specific chunk, right? So next episode, we're going to have to do the core sample drill to find an oil reservoir that we can pump up using the pump jack and then refine into lubricant, which we can then use to do some of our crafting. I think. Because I'm not 100% sure, to be sure, when we will need those rolling machine recipes, right? It might be that we don't need them until we get to like something further into the mod. Or it might be an optional part of the mod, but I'm suspecting there's going to be components that we definitely need them for, right? Because if I look at rolling machine, you can make iron sheet, which makes ore mappers and carbon collector cartridges and beacons, right? You can make silicon plates, which that can be made with silicon ingots, which I assume there might be some sneaky way to get, but we'll find out. But you can make copper sheets, which make that stuff. So I'm not 100% sure. Steel sheets are needed for pressure tanks. Right, I'm assuming we're gonna need those tanks, right? Area gravity controller. I mean, at some point we're gonna need it, right? Because I'm gonna want gravity. I'm gonna totally want gravity. What else can you do, rolling machine, that looks specific to you? Aluminum sheets, which are used for satellites. Titanium alumide sheets, which don't seem to have a recipe at all. Same for iridium, they don't have any use, right? This thing also makes the pressure tanks. So I think we need these in order to, you know, breathe. I think. If I remember correctly, those might be what we need for breathing. Ooh, toasted western. That sounds good. We should eat that immediately. Oh, ham and sweet pickle sandwich. Poutine! Pahamar! I got poutine, Pahamar. All right. So that feels like a good wrapping up point to me. We got really good progress done over here. So we've got pretty much all the machines, I believe, that are required to get into outer space, except for the fluid, right? We skipped these two machines because I don't think we need them. And then there's a few more that come after the basic circuits and stuff. So there's the space station assembler, the chemical reactor, the electrolyzer. We're going to find out what's involved in all those. Rocket assembling machines. So we're going to need a whole rocketry area. Because all these machines are big multi-blocks. So again, if anybody has any cool designs for buildings that they want to submit to me, you know how to do it. Just go ahead and use the copy-paste tool structure template block thingy, and I will be sure to have a cool rocketry building. If not, I'll, you know, make a 9x9. And yeah, that's a threat. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll come back next time and we will get into the petroleum stuff, probably because I'm just assuming we're going to need it eventually. And then, you know, figure out from there what we want to do. For now, Dal20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. For now, take it easy.